So somebody coming here, I suppose, you know, everything you're saying is so relevant. I mean, as a mother myself, you know, every day I am so desperate to make sure my daughter grows up in a world that is connected to nature.
Yes.
That she is aware of the source, aware of the process, and even just having a healthier relationship with the food once it arrives, because you have a respect for it, and it's not just a assumption that everything is just there for you. You know, I guess my head burst with ideas of the idea of bringing, you know, city children in India here, and getting them to plant their own food, and maybe and being able to harvest their own food. You know, what does I suppose a typical program look like for somebody who I suppose watches this or knows about you and wants to sort of come and immerse themselves in this world? I guess what is it that you want people to leave here feeling?
Okay. First of all, we are like passing through this golden beam of light from the sun, from the central sun into the sun, coming into the earth. So that basically means we are all privileged that we are passing through this planet. If you are a visitor on this planet, what do we leave back for the next generation? Like you always flush the toilet before you walk up, right? That means you want the next person to not have a bad experience. Yes. So same way, if we were to apply that same analogy to all our existence, what are we gifting our future generations? Landfills, garbage dumps, ocean filled with plastic, and say, okay, take this. This is my the result of my experience. So here we are trying to reverse this whole thing, that what is actually living here on this planet? Why do we feel that only we want a very far-stretched luxury as the standard of elevated living? What is real luxury? Is luxury living in a very conditioned atmosphere, or living in nature as it was meant to be? We did not come with all the manuals and equipment to live on this planet. We came here with bare bodies. We came here with the bodies which were nourished enough or protected enough to be on this planet. So actually taking people to nature means basically helping them realize how the ecology is functioning. We've forgotten how ecology works. People have started doing monoculture. People have started doing laboratory-based food. The food is not even really food. It is come from a laboratory, and the food is operated. And we think that everybody wants to eat on a luxury atmosphere, but they don't want to know where the food comes from.
No.
If you really get to know where the food is, where is it generated from, what is the quality of water, what is the means of absorbing the purest oxygen, and we have to work towards it. That means the corrupted human mindset, which is that you live in a, it doesn't mean that we cannot live in cities, but we contribute better to growing those oxygen pouring trees. For instance, in India we have a people tree, Peepal, people, okay, and this tree exudes about 1,000 kilos of oxygen in between 4 and 6 a.m. in the morning. Okay, now how is that we have missed out on absorbing these, from our lives? So we think that, okay, I have to sit in a oxygen chamber, or you have this nowadays. We have oxygen level, rooms where people were put a cylinder and sitting there. Because to me, when people come here, I want them to completely enable them to invoke their creative intelligence. I don't want them to think like a textbook, like a manual, and say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They get repetitive. Actually, children are intelligent. By the time they're 21 in their education process, they're dumbed out into being just an intellectual energy, which is very predictable, into thinking about how to become an investor and make a global organization. What are we missing? First and foremost, somewhere people have forgotten how to ground. People don't know how to walk barefoot anymore. They're always, so wrapped around in their shoes and extraordinary clothing. So how is that we are not able to be ready for this nature? How are we not ready for this planet? Since when did humans become so fragile and brittle and vulnerable that they have so many allergies? I want to help people, the children especially, overcome allergies. They have allergy to fruits, which were nature's gift to us. How can you have allergy to fruits, to vegetables, which are organically given as a gift to us? How to invoke the sun energy to draw energy of the life flow, the life stream. Because it's so important to, in the coming years, obviously we're going to have a big food crisis, water crisis. We have to learn how to live with less. It is invariable. If all the people would hoard the food and keep it in their homes, hoping that they'll have a feast out of it, it's not going to work. So we all have to face the inevitable challenge that this world is going to have depleted sources. So we have to work towards empowering it. The children together can, the next generation, be aware of stepping out of their boardrooms and office spaces and see for themselves how much of green has gone away from their life. So I want them to come here and do planting.
Yes.
I want them to know how to identify what is ecology, how this ecology sustains itself, and how that human intervention can create damage more than good, and to understand how to read the clouds, how to send messages to the clouds, how to connect with the water energy, how to message the water energy passing through us, how to talk to the body to create a positive atmosphere within us so that we can avoid being vulnerable, and help them with Kriya Yoga to help them attain a disease-free body, and how to sustain it with least struggle. We all have different pressures in our walk of life, but we have to find time for ourselves. We have to find time how to identify with our priorities. Something that has gone missing in our life is we feel we have come here on this world for a major project, and most of the project is basically ripping off this planet, basically mining, real estate, growing more cities, growing more amount of we have created spaces which are so concrete that the space doesn't breathe. We are all in a plastic environment, and we want a dome now to cover us with air condition so that we cannot face even the light of the sun coming to us. So here we are in Kevala, opening our hearts to contribute to a world where I'm primarily interested in children, because I want them to truly live up to their earthly existence with honesty. We cannot cheat ourselves. If we cheat ourselves, we're going to cheat even more our next generation. We're going to create such a negative atmosphere that we're operating like a robot. We don't have enough identity with the fine-tuned cry of this earth, which cannot even hear how much of damage we have done. So undoing the damage, salvaging of what we can. We have done enough damage already. We can see it in all the repercussions of the earthly ghastly incidents, that are calamities that are happening across. We have done enough damage. We can salvage whatever we can, and through sincere effort of making people realize how to access the university of life, how to access the human connect, how to meet eyes with people, how to genuinely connect with laughter, how to connect with purity of us. We are all coexistence on this planet, co-creators on this planet. We are contributing to each other. We can live with a life without so much measurement and comparison. We don't have to have so much unhealthy competition. I don't know where we headed with competition. So we need to live consciously aware. We live with being situationally aware, consciously aware, live with that sense of unity, that we are all from the same source, we belong to the source, and we are here to acknowledge the same soul connect with each one of us. We are all connected. We don't have to fight over religion and race and nations and so-called pretentious idealisms. So if you crack open this whole concept of limitedness by the so-called bifurcations in our thought process, we will crack open the code eventually. It's not an open straightforward game. because people are so lost in their own programming. We need to cleanse this whole emotional seat of our bodies with more purifications through music, through art, to help them realize that there is so much divinity flowing through us. Why are we so lost in our human fight? There is the fight, the ego wars. The biggest struggle is the difference between love for power and power of love. Yes, if there is power of love, it will eventually unlock their hearts to. If they want people to work more with their heart channel to have better convergence of the energies, and also contribute to acceptance, contribute to gratitude and compassion. It's not an idealism. It's about time we recognize that we are all beautiful and special and unique, and not meant to be an assembly line product which wants to be so-called making people, investors, happy. So we have only one planet, we have only one unified soul frequency that is guiding all of us. It is about time for us to be brutally honest and commit through actions, and not just philosophize it and imagine it. Somebody is just going to join the dots and we're going to watch it. Or and each responsible, we'll identify with skills of children, we'll identify with their role plays, we identify with their circumstances, and accordingly guide them that what role they can play. And eventually we don't want a house full of one single type of skill. We want skills to be variable, skills to be contributive, so that it's like building a home. We need all kinds of skills to build one home. So like that, we want to make projects where we can do eco houses, eco communities, and enable people to switch back to simple living, elevated thinking. Thank you.
I completely agree. But I think my favourite thing that I've done here, obviously other than hang out with you, is the ground is so soft.
Yes.
I've been walking barefoot through the grounds, and I live on Ibiza, an island in Spain, and the ground is very dry there. Like, I love it, and it's the first place on earth that I've really felt connected to the land. And when you start establishing that land connection with yourself, you really do start to care. And I think that's kind of what's missing. We've been put in these glass box structures our whole life and seen that as safety, and we kind of need to get wild again. And a lot of the work that I'm super passionate about is particularly working with bringing back those feminine energies that are wild and a bit crazy, and don't really kind of make sense to the straight line structures that we've been kind of enduring in our society for a long time. And actually, since I've been here, like, what I really love about, I guess, being here at this stage is that, as you said, it is an unraveling. Yes. There isn't a precious structure of this is what it has to be. Actually, this is a chance to come somewhere where you can kind of contribute to what it is about, because I think every day you're discovering more and learning more, and we're all students at the University of Life.
Yes.
And the University of Life involves taking risks. It involves being out in nature, not always being safe in our boxes, and not always knowing what's going to come next. And I think one of the things that I personally would really like to contribute to this place, having spent time here, is making it more accessible outside. Yes. You know, like a pagoda, putting furniture on these beautiful terraces you have here. If I want to eat my food, I can eat whilst taking in the nature. Like that. Yes, yes. That for me is where I'm like, I want to be embracing the noises, all the amazing plants that you're putting here. Like that for me is where the next time I come here, I want to be outside the whole time. You know. Yes, yes. And I'm very and when I'm building my own home territory, like I live on a farm, and the reason I wanted to live there was because I wanted my daughter to grow up watching the vegetables grow, and seeing where the food came from, and running around in the garden, getting muddy, like not being squeaky clean. You know, we see Instagram kids now and they're perfectly dressed in their little white dresses, and sometimes if I put up a picture of my daughter and her hair looks like a freaking spider web and she's covered in mud, you know, straight away you go, oh, bad parenting, but actually for me it's the opposite. I'm like, she's embracing the world, she's learning, she's getting dirty, she's learning that life isn't about being squeaky clean, it's about messing up, it's about learning, it's about growing, and education, I think, needs to reflect that going forward, and that, I suppose, is what being part of this community will be about, bringing together the people that also feel passionate about. We need to really start thinking about the way that we're living and the way that we are bringing up our children, and seeing the world through a different pair of eyes. I think Mother Earth is asking for it. I really do. I feel it. As somebody who's lived a very unconscious life, who has, you know, grown up with the star aim of my life to own a Louis Vuitton handbag, you know, you know, that was my goal for many years, and now I'm through the University of Life's journey that it's taken me on. Now I'm like, I just want a garden where I can just sit and be peaceful and feel safe, but safe in a different way, safe within myself. I don't need to put a glass aircon box around me to feel safe, but it's more just that it's developing these spiritual practices to know I've got me. I can trust in me. And then that is how we create the Guruji portals of absolute no doubt. I'm on my way. Are you here to join in or not? Let's not mess about. I'm going to put a slight pause on there because I just want to check our notes.